Hello, I hope your weekend was very great. And today we'll proceed by learning candle range or candle failure. Since this was only given out in Swahili, but I'll be giving out in English. But before we proceed, I'd like to make an announcement. This announcement will be on the group-wise classes. The group-wise classes will proceed on March. So on March we'll be having, at the moment, I'm taking those inquiries for the group-wise classes that will proceed on March. And why am I making, I'm thinking that this will be my last class for group-wise for this year until further notice. So in case you're interested to join the class on March, so the groups will be the Swahili and the privilege that I gave it earlier to the English because I haven't provided the English classes for the long period of time. So make sure the descriptions, into the description there, you will find my Telegram or Instagram. You can DM to enroll, and that's it, brothers. So I wish everyone best of luck because the knowledge into group wise is a little bit cheaper compared to one-on-one. So I've been teaching a lot of students in terms of groups for the past few weeks. So that's why I want to list and see and proceed maybe on June, July. I don't know, but maybe May, June, July, if not so. So let us not waste the time and proceed with the candle range theory or the candle failure. So the candle range or the candle failure is simply when price fails to break below a previous candle. I'll be talking about the candle range theory or candle failure, but we have a similar thing here that we call it the swing point failure. We have swing point failure, but I'll be teaching only about the candle failure or candle range. I'll be basically uh, on candle candles, yeah, and not the swings because the swings you tend to use the structures. But the candle, we're only dealing about one or two candles. So swing failure and candle failure, same thing but different. Is that the swing is structure, candle failure is only basically from candles. So whenever you find that such kind of setup, and it must be on daily time frame, we have one candle and the other candle that came out fails to break below or fails to break above a certain candle. This is now what we call the candle failure. So once you see such kind of setup, it can be tradable instantly, or you can wait this daily candle to close if the liquidity weren't consumed. Thereafter, you go for the liquidities. Yeah, you go for the liquidities. I'll be showing you. So after you've proceeded this from the daily time frame, you go to the 4 hours time frame. 4 hours, we need to see some few things around that level where price failed to break. So in 4 hours time frame, we need to see either we have the rejection of the candle around that level, or we have what we call the thrust candles. Thrust candles are simply two candles that have the opposite. For instance, we need to see bearish or bullish, bearish and bullish at the support level, and at the resistance level, we need to see that level that I'm talking about that made the rejection. So we need to see such kind of things. At this point, also, we need to see the bullish candle or bearish candle. Sorry, bearish candle. After we have spotted that, simply the market will just go down here to consume the liquidity, then proceed to the upside. Same applies here. The market will come here to consume the liquidity that we are not consumed by the market. Eventually, we'll proceed to the upside direction. So I've been taking such kind of entries ever and ever again because we can spot them on gold, Nasdaq, US card, a lot of them. So Once you learn this, the tendency of such kind of structure is that we see that buyers, for instance, candle failure has been made. The support is simply buyers um, can no longer go or can no longer compete with the sellers in order for them to be taken in the market, or sellers can no longer compete with buyers, or they don't have the power to proceed with the market to either the downside direction or upside election. So it depends from where this kind of failures occurred. So it's only that way you can consider it's one of the things that you can rely on, because most of the traders that you know, they trade something that is called the candle range theory. It's similar, same thing, but they won't teach you on how you can be entered in the market in terms of liquidity consumption or by proceeding into 4 hours and to observe such kind of things. So that's it. Without wasting the time, let us proceed to the examples that Price offers, had offered us earlier. So the first one is one of the trade that I consider taking it. Of course, I won't be digging too much. You have to use your time to to observe what happened. Yeah. So for instance, this is one of the entry that I took. This one I'll be posting. You'll be seeing it on the left hand side, and this is another entry. Sorry, yeah, this one is another entry that I managed to take, and this one is the other entry that I took just before the market closed, and now the market has already opened, so we're expecting something to happen here and onto the market. And without wasting the time, let me proceed with the first example. Then we'll proceed to look for the other examples on the chart. So basically, I'm showing you first my the things that I considered and the entries that I took. So this one was the first example or the first entry that I considered based on the candle range or based on the candle failure. So that was the first example. And what we see here, this is called the candle failure semi-price to swing point. So what we need to do next is from daily, we go on 4 hours time frame. On 4 hours time frame, simply we can see we have the rejection at this point. Semi-price here, we have the thrust candles. Thrust candle, which means we have the bearish and the bullish candle. So it doesn't need to be very much big here, maybe an engulfing. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. Only this is okay for us to be considering taking the trade. So what must be done again is to observe if you can find any liquidities that were down here and not consumed. So on my side, the liquidities that were not consumed were from uh, 15 minutes. This is the area that I considered taking my entry to the upside direction, because the risk is what you need to observe before taking your entry. So if you have good risk, which means now you can still take the trade and proceed to the upside direction. It depends on how the market offers you the risk, because you can't, you're the one who you consider a certain amount of risk, but the market will decide which risk you need to take. So at this point, that was my entry. As I said, I'll be showing it here. So this is my entry, and that's where I consider taking the trade. So you can see the market tapped a very beautiful entry to the upside direction, and that's how things work. So we had another candle failure above here that was offered on our side because we are on the bullish. So once we see more setups that are on our side from the bullish structures. Here we had sellers that came into the market, but eventually failed to to take the chances to proceed to the downside. So from uh 4 hours time frame, I mean daily time frame, we simply go 4 hours. We can observe here we have a rejection and thrust candle. It's okay, a good sign, which will help us to minimize the risk. I mean, by looking forward to check the unconsumed areas of liquidity. That's why I said I won't dig too much because I'll be going specifically to the areas that I need. And we can clearly see that we had an area of liquidity on 1 minute that was considered to be unconsumed here, this one. So this one was our entry, which I considered as a part of my trade to proceed to the upside direction. So that's all about the liquidity consumption, and gold is one of it on in terms of consuming the liquidities. So it took our entry to the upside direction, and that's how easy it was to grab such kind of entry because the market will just do that in repetition. Okay. Meanwhile, we have another entry here from above the candle failure. Remember, you just don't need to sometimes to wait until the market closes. For instance, here this is the candle failure, and the rest here are the swing point failures. And they say they are the same. So once we consider here, we see we have the thrust can we have the swing point failure. Candle failure. We go on 4 hours. But before going to 4 hours, we need to observe what did we have here before. We see we had the rejection and the candle closed above. So which means this was a good sign. We won't have any candle closing below if the candle closed above with the good and nice rejection at this point. So what we'll be doing, I guess it was 5 minutes, if not mistaken. Yeah, it was this area on 5 minutes that I considered before the market closure, almost like 6 hours before the closure of the market, if not 7 hours. Then this was my entry, a very beautiful and nice entry. This is where you can consider taking it. So you see, price came tapped, and now the market has already opened. We are waiting for more pulls to the upside direction. But before that, we had another candle failure from above so that I can show you how things work. Before that, we had another candle failure from above, this one, before coming to consume from this point down here. So which means we go to the 4 hours time frame. We see we have the thrust candles here. So which means if we have the thrust candle, simply we can go and refine at this point and look for the entries. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch such kind of entry because I wasn't available. So if you can consider this point as your entry point, it's okay. But if it has been consumed by the market, and that's not okay. So for instance, here, this one can be used as a part of our entry. So we need to consider the liquidity consumption. So we need to consider, so at this point, you see price consumed all the liquidities that were supposed to be considered. And that, yeah, this was consumed already. So which means we have this one as our unconsumed area of liquidity to be considered into the market. And most of the people fail a lot about liquidity consumption, and that's why you see them ending up losing. Maybe let's dig deep up to 1 minute if you can find an unconsumed area of liquidity here. You see, I don't see any unconsumed area of liquidity. All the liquidities were already consumed by the market. So at this point, that's the only liquidity that will be used if the market pumps to the upside direction. So you can clearly see the market came here, tapped, then dropped to the downside direction, coming back to grab the entry from this failure that happened here. So that's how things work. And another one, it's Nasdaq. Nasdaq, we also had, you can go on your own and backtest this kind of area here. And we have another one down here, this one. You can go and backtest on your own here, this one. Let me just show you. Let me just show you, okay, sorry, okay. Let me just show here down. So we have this kind of area, this one. Once we go on forwards, we know what to find. So we have seen two things. These are best for us to be considering. So we managed to find the thrust candles, which means we can define on whatever target we want. So for instance here, you can see we have this area of liquidity that was not consumed by the market. Okay, we have this one also not consumed. Yeah, same liquidity on 5 minutes, same liquidity on 3 minutes, which means this will be our best area to take into consideration. So we want to consider anywhere. So that's how you can analyze based on the candle range theory or the other forms or other means. So by this, make sure you share the video to others so that they can understand what's going on in the market. You are given the knowledge for free. Make sure you share with others also for free, unless otherwise you paid for it. So that's it, comrades. And yeah, we'll meet again in the other sessions that I'll be posting here. Thank you and enjoy your day.